turn this down. We're going to be going over a series of games to give a baseline for how I review games. So we're going to go over my 5-star review system. Again, a lot of people use stars, but everyone's reasoning behind why they use that and how they do the scores is totally different. I know a lot of people use a 5-star scale. The one that comes to mind and kind of, in a sense, inspired this is, Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, radio, all those other things. But he uses a 5-star scale that he has frequently broken. He's got above 5 stars, and he gives quarter stars too. So it's essentially like a 20-point system, but that goes further. It's almost like a 30-point system. And I think that's too much for what I'm trying to accomplish here. So let's get right into it. So how am I going to be scoring games? I'm going to be scoring them out, excuse me, on a scale of 5 stars to no stars. No half stars, no quarter stars, no breaking the scale. I'm going to stay as consistent to that as possible. I can't promise anything. Anything could happen. But I feel if I, stay as strong to this as I possibly can, that if an exception does come up, it's a no-brainer anyways. So 5 through 0. However, I'll spoil this. I've never played a 0-star game, so there won't be an example of a 0-star game here. I've put that as the ceiling for, it's got to be something especially horrible and terrible. I'm talking like, you'll see what I put as a 1-star game. I only have one example of a 2-star and a 1-star game. The 3, 4, and 5 have 2 examples today. But of course, as soon as I start streaming, I get a text message. But, never played a 0-star game. I hope I never do. But it's reserved, and it can happen. And that's why this scale is sort of split into 2 parts. 3, 4, and 5-star games. We're going to get into them. As I break them apart a little more, you'll see what I mean by 3, 4, and 5. But if I rate a game 3, 4, or 5 stars, it is a game that is deserved to be bought and enjoyed at full price. It's as simple as that. 2, 1, and 0, do not buy them at full price. They cannot be enjoyed at full price, unless there's a particular reason. And that's kind of what a 2 is. So, starting, 5 is obviously your best. 4 is still a classic. 3 is a very good game. And all of those, pretty much 3, 4, and 5, would, if you filled your shelf with just 3, 4, and 5 games, you'd probably have a pretty immaculate collection. 2, 1, and 0, you'll see a couple of the 2-star games, or the one example I put is that you need to have some level of attachment to the game besides how good it is. Like if this wasn't a insert superhero name game here, you probably would hate it. So a lot of 2-star games I imagine would be like that, and a lot of licensed things. So that's really it. 3, 4, 5, buy it at full price. It's just a matter, really it comes down to a matter of my taste, but something that can differentiate, like, a lot of games in the 3-star category. That's going to be the broadest category. Most games are going to be 3s. I can acknowledge that. My dog is just ruining my light behind me. It's okay, baby. I love you. But 3 is going to be a pretty broad category because, we'll get into that more. I should have prepared with better notes. But you'll see as I review more games too, like that line between 2 and 3 is probably the hardest, because there's probably games that I may want to give a 3, but I can't. If there's some level of enjoyment, if some level of enjoyment has to come from the property you're using, like let's say it's a WWE game, or let's say it's a UFC game, whatever, like a superhero game, like, again, like I said before, if the property holds a little bit of the fun, a little bit of the weight of the game, let's just get into it. I was going to cut this part up and make it like, oh, this is the baseline system, but I think it makes